the stop record button with my left hand. Sorry about that. So we're going to continue on. So the option to be able to slide this around is really key. And one of the other cool things is we can make that plane transparent. So as you see that I've selected it, we can also make it transparent so we can kind of see through it. Let's see, select it, should be able to, here we have alpha gain here. So you can make that invisible. So as you're modeling, that's really effective too. But just keep it, I don't think we need to go that far into it. One of the things I do want to do is be able to turn this on and off. And we're going to go ahead and make a layer. Here in the upper right, there's an icon here. We're going to go ahead and create. And we're going to call this front. And we're going to do underscore. Maya does not like just a space. We're going to call it front image. Let's see if it likes that. All right, and you have it selected. We're going to go over here and right click and hold and hit add selected objects. All right, so this is just a good way of organizing. We're going to go ahead and select the second one. We're going to go to layers, create an empty layer. Again, we're going to name it, and we're going to call it side. Oops, I spelled it right. Underscore image, and we hit save. And so we've got it selected. Right click and hold, add selected objects. So the cool thing is you can turn it back and on and off. And also if you don't want it to be able to select it, we can hit R. This is as reference. So now you can see I can't touch it, but I can turn it on and off. So you can always turn that R off if you need to move that around. All right, so I think that's it for now, and we'll get started in just a second. I just want to go ahead and save this file, get used to saving. I'm going to go ahead and save scene. Yeah, go to my Dunny, and then I'm going to go ahead and get ready to organize this stuff. I'm going to call this Maya. I'm going to call it Dunny. And you already automatically have it as Maya binary. There's also a Maya ASCII. So if you're working with others and they may have a newer edition of Maya, ASCII file is just as good. So just stay at Maya binary. We'll talk about saving this as a different formats or different ways of saving this too. Saving as a project is really beneficial if you're working on a very complex scene. But right now we're just doing it MB file to get you guys started. So we're going to go ahead and hit save as. And down the road, we'll be saving every 5 minutes. So you can also do increment save. So I'll show you how to do that on the next go around. Just in case something crashes or you do something horrible, you can go back in 15 minutes and start where you left off. This is really important when modeling. All right, good luck. And hit 5, 5, 5. And basically it's going to give you that's either centimeters, millimeters, or whatever your pre-settings for your preferences in Maya are. So we'll go ahead and hit create. So that's a pretty good size. And what I'm going to do really quickly is just knowing that we want to duplicate, I'm going to go ahead and pull that cube over here, and I'm going to pull it into kind of the center mass area of the character here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this all the way to our edge here. And then I'm going to go right click and want to get you guys acclimated to using your vertices and your move tool. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up to here and then pull that into kind of mid belly here. May even go even further down here to the armpit. All right, so I'm going to go to my side view. And this is just going to hit R. And just kind of squeeze that in. All right, so we just have a starting point that's not way off base here. All right, go back to OBJ, and again, I right click, hold, and go up to OBJ to get to that hot box. Okay, a lot of things you'll be figuring out, and this is probably the most difficult model you'll ever do because it's your first one. You're getting used to all these interfaces. All right, so again, you're learning a lot of new terminology. And one of the things to make sure this instancing is going to work, we can see our center pivot is way out here, out in the middle of nowhere, and we want to bring it right here. So once we start modeling, everything is key. So I hit W. I'm going to go to my top view, and I'll hold down D as in the letter dog. And I'm just going to move this dead center here. I'm going to zoom it in and make sure that is right dead center on our axis there. And I'm going to go to my side view. I hit D as a dog again and kind of go to the center of that. All right. So that's going to be really helpful. So when we start modeling that, this is our origin point right here. All right, so the next thing is we want to delete this face that's in the center, because as we start duplicating faces, we don't want that to duplicate. All right, so I hit face, and right here you'll see these dots. You may not see dots, you just may see when you roll over it, it'll select it. So you just want to make sure that one is selected. You can go around or just kind of trust yourself, select it, and I'm going to hit backspace or delete. And right now you can go to object mode, you can see there's a hole there. Just make sure you didn't accidentally delete something extra. So I'm going to select that, and now we're going to do our really cool thing is duplicate instance. All right, so I'm going to go really slow and explain what's going on. So we're going to go edit, and we're going to do duplicate special. Now just don't hit that button willy-nilly. You're going to come over here to the option box, and we have scale X, Y, Z. And earlier I was testing it, and my X, Y, Z axis was all off. So typically, if you're lucky, it's usually your X-axis here, Y and Z. I'm going to try duplicate on the X-axis here. So when you open up this dialog, it'll be on copy, but for this we want to call it instance. So it's referring to the parent that we're the parent here, and instance will be basically the child over here. All right, so I hit -1, and let's cross our fingers. Hopefully it works on the first time. We're going to hit duplicate special. All right, excellent. So now we have our instance, and you can see it flipped it. It made a perfect mirror image of it. So this is really important. All right, so you're asking, well, that's really cool. Who cares? Well, the cool thing is when we start getting into modeling, when you pull vertices, it's happening on this side too. Also, when we get into face and we grab that face and we hit shift extrude face, that's going to happen over here too. Okay, so really quickly, this is the advantage of box modeling and having symmetry on. It's really key to have symmetry on, especially once we get into ZBrush and you start sculpting. You want symmetry happening on both sides when you're sculpting. Now sometimes models won't be symmetrical, sometimes they're asymmetrical. So we'll talk about that later as you start getting into your own characters. So one of the things we want to do is make sure that this is not being touched. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do a create layer. And we're going to go right click, hold, and add selected objects. All right, so we're going to turn that on and off. We can either have it as a T as a wireframe or as a R. So now when I go to grab it, I'm only grabbing the box that we're modeling. Also, if I hit W, it's still doing its thing, but it's only as a reference. So again, just get into habit of naming things. So that side one is instance side. That's all. Just keep it simple. That way you know what it is. Sometimes you'll have 180 images, or not images, but 180 different things over here to write, and it just get out of control if you don't organize it. I'm probably the worst person in the world not organizing my layers here. All right, so we're going to stop there. We're going to turn this back on, and on the next tutorial, we're going to start modeling. And you kind of saw kind of a teaser where we're going to just extrude faces and start modeling that way. So the next one, we'll probably have 2 more tutorials, and we'll finish this up soon.